Welcome to Soulful Conversations with Nadjejda. I'm Nadjejda Chapoteau. I'm an empowerment and confidence coach, spiritual teacher, and speaker. I empower women coaches to embrace their true selves, find their message, and share it boldly so they can attract their dream clients. I am so excited about today's guest. She is powerful and so inspiring. Chandra Brooks. Chandra is known as the socialpreneur. She helps women ignite that socially conscious human side. She helps them turn ideas into action and motivates them to create change in their community. Chandra Brooks, the socialpreneur, is a leadership specialist coaching. She coaches women in community and political influence. How she shows them how to activate their activism and how to rise to the top of leadership. She is also the host and creator of the Future is Female radio podcast, highlighting women across the country in politics, business, and activism. Welcome, Chandra. I'm so happy to have you here today.
Hi, thank you, Nadjejda. I'm so happy to be on your show. I've been waiting patiently.
Me too.
Because I know you've had a lot of people, a lot of interviews, and I was like, I can't wait to be on Nadjejda's show. Your energy, I love your energy, and I feed off of your energy. So thank you.
Thank you for saying that. And I have to say, I find you so, like I said, like really powerful, empowering, and inspiring. And your posts on social media, the way I see you really taking on being a social activist, being a, really showing up for your community and showing up for good. I am really inspired by that. And I couldn't wait to have you on because that's one of the reasons why I created this show is that and when I found out about you, when I met you, and I was like, oh my God, because I didn't want it to just be talking about spirituality and self-care and self-love and business. Mm-hmm. I wanted it to also talk about social activism, which I think is so important and so needed right now.
Yes, right. In today's time, it's needed, and I think more people want to get active. They just don't know how or where to get started. So, yes,
definitely, and that's where you come in, right?
Yes, that's where I come in, and I think that's what ignited me to start my business is because I seen so many people that wanted to do something and they just didn't know how to do it. And I knew I had this skill and I knew it was something that I could teach people how to do and I could motivate people how to do. And I said, you know what, I'm just going to go full-fledged, jump right into it. It was either start my business or get ready to run for political office. And I chose to start my business. That was my choice. And I think I could affect more people. I could affect more people that way across the world, really, rather than just in my own community. I could continue to be the advocate within my own community, but if I can start a radio show, if I can start a podcast, video, interviews, and spread this information and knowledge of know-how on how to get active and be a social activist throughout, on the internet, then I'm affecting thousands and thousands of people rather than just a small few in my community.
Definitely. So Chandra, why don't we start with you sharing some of your journey with us? Like, I don't know, I know when you talked about how you had really struggled with things and you really like risen up and faced your challenges and really like you raised up, like you really, so if you want to start sharing about your own journey with us.
Yeah, and it's really fresh in my head because I'm writing an article for the Huffington Post. And
awesome.
The article is about being a teen mom, being a teen mom, getting pregnant at 17, not really being into school. It wasn't a focus for me. What was focused for me is like how I looked and, like my looks and hanging out with my friends. And it was never about any education. It wasn't about my future. I didn't know anything about politics. I didn't know who the mayor was of my city. I probably barely knew who the president of the United States was when I was in high school, only because of the news, maybe is probably why I knew. So, I didn't grow up, focused to go to college, any of that stuff. It was very just kind of, you had a baby, you get a job, get married, find somebody to take care of you, and that in that type of upbringing. And it was never focused on me being accomplished, me being accomplished or me finishing my degree. None of that. So I didn't get my degree right away. I didn't get my degree right away. I worked, and everywhere I worked, I always rose to the top. I always, was a director. I always was the boss in some way, somehow. And so I, knew that I had something. I had something special, that I would always stand out, and I would always be a leader, and I would always figure out strategically, like, who I needed to know within a company to rise to the top, to get noticed. I knew what I needed to do in order to do that. So I had, I went through some different jobs and, figured out the connection of community. I worked in the community development. And then I started noticing that community and politics played hand in hand, and how important that was. And especially with communities of color, how important it is for us to be engaged and involved in the community and in politics, and know who our leaders are in order to create change. I've had several challenges. Like I said, I was a teen mom. It came up, organically through, leadership, not just, because I had this master's degree or anything. It was because I had natural leadership skills. And, when I was in high school, before I got pregnant, I was kicked out of like 3 schools in the school district, just a very challenging upbringing that I brought on myself. My parents were actually really good. I had really good parents. I was just bad. And I didn't do what I was supposed to do. So I'm making up for it now in big ways for them.
It's part of your journey.
It's exactly.
That's why you are who you are right now.
Yeah, right, exactly. So anyway, so after, what I'm sharing in this article is that even though I got kicked out of these 3 schools, and I was a teen mom, I crossed the stage pregnant at one of these schools. And then in 2015, this school district inducted me into their Hall of Fame. So it was just full circle. And that award meant the most to me. Out of all the awards that I received, the East Side Unified School District Hall of Fame was the most important to me, because I knew what I did in that school district. And I knew that I wasn't their valedictorian. I wasn't their straight A student, but I came back. I came back and I changed my community. I did things within my community that they saw, and they said, she needs to be on our wall in our school district. And that, has made me the most proud is getting that award.
Wow, that's powerful. So I'm curious for you, what shifted things from you? From not really caring and then like, what is it that shifted? Like, what was, you can remember either that moment or a series of things where you were saying, okay, let me kind of like get myself together or whatever. So I'm curious.
It was having my daughter, it was like I had to, because her father wasn't helping me much. Mm-hmm. So I had to work. I worked up until I was 9 months pregnant. And then, after that, I continued to work. I knew that I had to work. And that was engraved in me as, through my family. They always worked. They worked hard. Nobody was lazy. Everybody worked. So I knew that I always had to work. And I worked from I was 15. So I knew about working. So I think that's when I knew I had to get it together. But it didn't change me on the type of person I wanted to be. It just knew that I had to work hard and I wasn't going to be lazy. Mm-hmm. And I had, and like I said, I've always had a drive for something. I've always had a drive to do, sorry about that ring in the background, but I've always had a drive to do more. So I've been able to, like I say, excel in these other positions. But I think when I had my daughter, that was kind of like, you got to do more, Chandra, for this world rather than just for yourself.
Definitely, I get that. And how did you get involved in terms of like with the political stuff, because I know that is something that you are passionate about as well.
Yeah. So with me being involved in the community and working in community development, I worked with nonprofit organizations and community organizations, and I would be the grant writer. I would write grants and raise millions of dollars for several nonprofits throughout my city. And what I realized is that a lot of grants depended on city government as well. And a lot of things that were happening that we were, as nonprofits, putting the Band-Aid on, whether it was low-income childcare, whether it was homelessness, whether it was food programs for kids. In the end, it all had to do with policy and politics. And I said, okay, as nonprofits, we're putting Band-Aids on the situation as nonprofits. We're fixing a problem temporarily, but how do we fix a problem permanently? And the way we fix a problem permanently is being engaged in politics and understanding policy and understanding the people that are running our city, and to know that we can advocate and we can call them and we can hold them accountable for making decisions that affect us every day. So that's how I started, networking with politicians and being more involved and understanding that in my influence with them and the better relationships I had with them, the faster I could get things done for the community.
Yeah, no. And it's interesting that you're saying that because, I've worked in some nonprofits here and there local, but I used to be engaged in international development because that's where I got my degree, and I was working at the American Red Cross in DC where I lived there. And I did notice from conversations with colleagues and friends and everything, that's what we do in the international world as well, is we put a Band-Aid.
Yeah, it's all Band-Aids. It's all Band-Aids, but the politicians have control, of that. They can fix these things. But you think about it in the end is really like, do the politicians really have the control in the end? Because if they did and they really cared, then how come these things aren't fixed? How come we can't fix these things faster?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Sometimes it comes down to the money, and that's a deeper conversation for
I know, right? Follow the money and you'll get the answer, right?
Right. Then you know who's running the country. Follow the money.
Definitely. So what would you say, I'm curious to, what would you say for women who want to get involved in their communities, for women who want to start being engaged in social activism? What would you tell them?
I would tell them to really dig deep and figure out what they're passionate about. Don't just go serve at the pantry because you feel that's the right thing to do. Just don't go clean up the litter in your neighborhood because you should do that though, because if it's dirty, you should do that. But don't go do it just to do it. Figure out what are you passionate about? What means the most to you? Is it foster kids? You got to dig deep, because sometimes you think about it, you're like, some people don't realize they were a foster kid and they're like, oh, I can volunteer, in group homes with foster kids, or I can, because they were a foster kid. So they're going to put more passion and more time into that. And that's the type of people we need. We don't want fly-by-night volunteers in and out that go just because they think it's a good day to come volunteer and come feed food or come mentor for one day and then you disappear. We need committed people that are passionate about the work that they do. So it's good to dig deep and really figure out what you want to do in your community. And then, and I know that some women or some individuals are grappling with running for political office. And what I tell you, that is a good way to give back. Those are the ultimate community givers, are politicians. Usually they get in for the right reasons. Some don't, but most because they want to give back. They are activists. They are people that want to do bigger change, and that's why they run for political office. So, they're not bad people. It's just sometimes it's hard for them to get through the red tape once they get into office. But usually these are the people that want to give the most. So, if you want to run for political office and you're considering that, you have to establish yourself within your city. So you have to look into committees, commissions. There's commissions in every city and every county. So you can be on the commission, a parks commission, the planning commission on the development that goes on in your city. You can be on a women's commission. I'm the vice chair of the Commission on the Status of Women and Girls in my county. And, we make decisions that affect women and girls throughout the county. So if women and girls are something you're passionate about, you can be on that commission. And you don't have to be, this great person to be on these commissions, but you have to have some influence, and people need to know you to be appointed to these commissions. So I say start there, get involved in local politics, get to know who your politicians are, engage with them, network, find out, follow them on social media, find out where they're going to be, go to these events, introduce yourself, get to know their staffers. This is the way you get known and your face becomes known within a community in order to really create that change. And then they're going to start calling you for, to be a part of this to be a part of that. You have to establish yourself within your community if you want to run for office. And that's one, if you want to run for office. But if you want to just get involved in your community in a more deeper way, dig deep and figure out what it is. Google it and, say foster care mentoring in my city, and things will pop up. You got to be able to search it for the right way.
Yeah, thanks for that. I love how you talk about finding what is it that you're passionate about. Because I think that's so important, because like you were saying, we don't need people who okay, they take this up and then they gone, And that's one of the things that I have been noticing, especially in the time we're living in right now, where there's just so much going on. Right. I have noticed that some people have picked a particular issue and they're just running with it. Mm-hmm. And I think that's great, because they found what is it for them that matters the most, right, and where they can make the most difference. And they're just really focusing on that one, because sometimes we're all over the place. And when you're all over the place, you're really not being efficient. Right. So I love how you share about really knowing what is it you're passionate about. Is it foster care? Is it, whatever it is? So I love that. So I'm curious, what are your thoughts? I mean, I know we're all, as you know, this show is all about empowering women. And I know for you, when I read your bio as well, you're all about working with these women. Why did you particularly chose to, I think you might work with men as well, but I know that you're very much about women empowerment. I'm curious why you particularly chose this particular group. Mm-hmm. And what type of impact do you think women can have, which is why you chose that group to get engaged in their communities and in politics, running for office. So love to hear your thoughts on that.
So even before I came to the online world, I was, like I said, a commissioner on the Commission on Status of Women. I get called to speak at different events that are for young women and for women. Mm-hmm. So I, feel like I've been a catalyst. I've been a leader in the community for women and a mentor and just a role model. Mm-hmm. So it's always been very close to my heart is to encourage and mentor young women, or just women in general. And I noticed that when I do speak, when I do give keynotes, the women are so inspired and they just want to do something. And then the Women's March, this is when we had the Women's March in January, all these women stand up and want to do something. And I said, okay, this is going to be a time where a lot of women are going to step up to the plate, and I've always believed that women, we lead a little bit better. Maybe I'm biased.
I love how you say a little bit better. So you're being nice.
Yeah, and because my husband's here listening, so I got to be nice. But as women, I think that we are more compassionate. We lead with more compassion, and we are more collaborative, and it's not about ego, but it can be. Sometimes ego gets in the way, but, yes. Yes, right? We have ego.
For all of us, both men and women,
Yeah, exactly.
So I think men think that we do it more, though.
Yeah, exactly. They'd probably think the opposite. But I think that like I said, we think things maybe a little bit more thoroughly and think about the longer run and not just like the issue happening right now. And I feel that, when we lead things happen a little bit faster. And I've only learned that through experience. I've worked with women leaders. I've seen women mayors. I've seen women city council members, and I watch them. I study them. And I see things happen faster when they're able to sit at the table with another group of people and they make things happen a little more efficiently. So I think that we have a good opportunity for women to step up, whether it's in leadership and activism, leadership in politics, leadership in the community, or leadership in business. We can really grow if we take that lead. But some of us are shy. We're too shy in the background to jump up and be that face or to be that leader. So that's the whole reason why I decided to focus on women, because I think that when women lead, women win. We all win. Everybody. When women lead, we all win.
Mm-hmm. That is very true. Very, very true. Yes.
Yes.
Well, I guess I'm just curious, what are your specific thoughts? So, I know you just shared about it, but is there anything more that you would want to say on women empowerment? Is there anything you want to add before we move on to the next question? Although I know you said a whole lot about it.
I think I said a lot, and like I said, that this is the time for women to step up. This is the
women,
time for us to
step
stop,
up.
yes, to stop being in the background and stop being just the secretary or the assistant. We need to be the leaders, and we need to take our own lead. We don't need to wait for somebody to hand us a position. We don't need to wait for somebody to say, okay, it's your turn now, you can come in. And I think a lot of us do that. We kind of like, okay, it's not my turn, I'm just going to wait my turn. And, this is all the reason why I started my business. I'm like, I'm going to create my own path myself. I don't need to wait for anybody to put me in political office to vote me in. I don't need anybody to say, Chandra, now you're president of this organization. We're handing you this role. I created my own position and my own place in this world in order to do it the way I wanted to do it. So we don't have to wait on anybody. We could create our own nonprofits. We could create our own organizations. We can go online and create our own podcasts and our own shows that are educating, that are doing what's passionate to us. Everything. You could create your own Facebook page. You can start small and educating on something that's important to you. So you don't have to just sit back and wait. And I want women to stop waiting and stop waiting for the right time. I have a private Facebook group called Fearlessly Ambitious Women. And it's about 80 women right now. And it's been growing daily. And I don't just accept anybody. These women have to be fearless, ambitious, and want to move to their next life. They have to step it up. They can't just come in there and lurk and watch and see what's going on with all these women. I challenge them to go live. I challenge them to accomplish their goals and go after their goals every day. And I want to know about their wins and all that. And I push. And we have to be that way. We have to stop being idle. We have to stop being idle and being behind the scenes and being scared and step up.
I love this. I really love it. And actually, I was gonna ask you if that's why you started your own business, but you already said it.
Mm-hmm.
You already said it, because that is definitely, like you were saying, it's time for us to step up in our leadership role, and we don't have to wait for the promotion for somebody to, like you said, for somebody to say, okay, here's the promotion, here's the position, or elect you into office. Like you created your own opportunity in your own path. So yeah. I love it. Like even for me, like I created this, I really wanted, and I'm still looking, I'm still pitching myself with podcasts and all of that. So then I said to myself, wait a minute, I can have my own podcast. And I can have the conversations that I want to have. I can have my own, which I want this to be a TV show one day,
There you go. You
so
got
I
it.
said, you know what, I could make, and I think right now, especially in the online space, we can create things, like we can, we make our own opportunities.
Yes.
We don't have to wait until somebody says, okay, Chandra or okay, Nadjejda, you have your own podcast too. It's like, okay, you can come and speak at my podcast. Yes, we want that and we appreciate it. And, but we're not waiting, because we create our own platform, you know? Exactly. So, and I wanted to bring women over to have these conversations that are so meaningful and so important, Right. So great. So what do you stand for in life?
I stand for, I think, doing what's right. Doing what's right in the community. Making sure that we all contribute. Making sure that we all have a hand in what's going on, and not complaining about it. That we are not just sitting back and saying, oh, they shouldn't be doing that, and those dang police officers or those dang politicians, and how come they don't do the right thing? I stand for us taking action. I stand for people doing something. Don't talk about it, be about it. And that's what I say all the time. You got to stop complaining and do something. And that's what I stand for.
Definitely. I love that. And you know what? I'm so in agreement with you. And I have to say, I was going to post this online. As much as I love the online space, I also feel like it's made us become lazy in a way, or it's made people think that I can just complain.
Facebook activists.
Yes, we're online activism. It's like, or thinking that if you're going to complain about somebody, a politician or whatever's going on issue online, that we're doing something. No, pick up the phone, call your
Mm-hmm.
representatives, write them letters, attend rallies, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like, you know, get active in your own. And I love how you say it, because often what we do, like I know people personally, all they do is complain. They've never attended a rally. They hardly call they don't, if they ever call their representative. And of course, we have the people who just vote, and some of them don't vote.
Yeah, right.
But
Right.
I completely agree with you. I am all for taking action, because we're
Mm-hmm.
powerful. We just
Right.
we don't use our power, right?
We don't, you know what the issue is though too, Nadjejda, is that we don't know how powerful we are. We don't realize that these politicians work for us.
Yes.
So if a city representative or a county state representative got flooded with phone calls, that can turn a vote. That can turn a vote to benefit us. So the more we are, even if it's just picking up the phone, I mean, if you organize 10 of your friends to pick up the phone and call, I mean, you're an activist. You are doing something. You've got 10 friends to call, and you tell them to call 5 times a day and blow up that representative's phone, they might consider, you know, like changing their vote. But if they don't get any calls, if they don't, nobody bothers them, they're able to make the decisions without anybody giving them an opinion. And that's what I'm, you know, writing about in my article, is that, you know, we don't even realize that, you know, these people are making decisions for us that affect our lives every day. And we don't realize how powerful our voice can be.
Yeah.
And say you got 100 people with you, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, how powerful those voices can be if you keep multiplying that and multiplying it. But we don't even know this. Our communities of color don't even know how powerful we are, or they don't even know how the system works. So my job, and you know, that's part of my job, and why I do my podcast, the women I bring on my show, is to educate. You know, we need to know that
we need it. We need it.
Only 90% of the Senate, no, 90% of the Senate is white. 90%. 78% of the House of Representatives is white. And we are the most diverse country in the world.
Yep.
Right? So the people that represent us do not look like us. They're making decisions that affect us. So we need to figure out local level and start figuring out how we're going to start placing people of color in these positions to eventually run for Congress and start running the country. Because we cannot keep it that way. Because this is why we're in the position we're in right now. This is why we don't have a lot of power. This is why certain people stay in power, because they make sure we don't know. So part of my job is to make sure that we do know and we're educated on this.
Definitely, because I do see many times, you know, people really think, oh, okay, well, what is that gonna do? Like, they really don't see their power. They think, oh yeah, well, if I call, like just recently when they want, you know, with the whole Obamacare repealed, you know, I got on Facebook and I was giving numbers and I was texting friends, and I had somebody say to me, well, after you make that call, what is that gonna like people they don't see it, you know. And I think a lot of times too, I have to say, being honest, is that I think people don't want to be bothered. Like, people expect to vote people in office and then you do it.
Right.
But really, you have to keep you have to keep the fire, like you have to put it, you know, unfortunately, some people don't, they just, you know, they like the easy way out, you know.
They're lazy.
Yeah, which is why, like, some people say, well, I didn't vote for him, and then that's it. Or, well, I didn't vote for him, well, that's why I voted and I'm done. Or, you know, it's well, people, it doesn't work like that, you know, because even the ones you want in power, when they get in power, because like you said, there's this whole red tape that even if they want to do something, it's very hard to get it done. And if you're not there pressuring, it's not going to happen.
Right, exactly.
So, yeah. So what are your thoughts on life purpose? Do you have one, and do you mind sharing it with us?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've been talking about it the whole time.
I know, right?
Right, because I think that we've all, you know, within time, and I'm about to be 40 years old, it takes time for us to really figure that out. You know, we think that I probably thought a long time ago that my life purpose was teen pregnancy prevention. And because that's what I was working in. A long time ago, I probably thought my path was, say, homelessness or something. You know, I don't know. But what I do know now is that, you know, God put me here for a reason. And it's to make sure, you know, and he's given me this talent to speak, the talent to have a voice, the talent to lead, the talent to be strong, to be confident, in order to be able to educate the community on our role in this life, you know, on how we have to get active, you know, whether it's in community or whether it's in politics, and, you know, to be able to use our voice. So I think that, you know, this is what I'm meant to do. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is, you know, and when it's, you know, when it came to me, it was just like, you have to do this. You have no choice. You have this talent because people, you know, I did a workshop 2 years ago that's called Sit at the Table or Be on the Menu. And what I did not realize is that several people that attended that workshop that I did, they went to apply to be on a commission, on a board or committee. They got active within their community. A lot of them didn't tell me, and I didn't ask them to tell me. But, you know, a woman in my group, she shared a story. She's like, Chandra, I drove from Los Banos to it's a town close to my town. It was about 45 minutes. She's like, I drove from Los Banos to San Jose, attended your workshop. I went to apply to be on the commission, planning commission, parks commission in my city. And now I changed and built 5 parks within my city because I came on that commission, and you encouraged me to sit on the commission and told me how to do it. And so I didn't realize the effect I had on people and how many women that I brought on the commission that I serve on right now. I personally made a phone call to get them on the commission, and the changes that they've made because they are on these commissions are huge. So, you know, I'm like, I have a talent to teach people how to do this. So why not do it on a national level rather than on a local, just locally?
I love that. I really love it. And I love how, 'cause for me, I truly believe that purpose is about being of service to others. And I love that. That's what you do. You know, like I do believe our purpose change, you know, as we grow at different stages in our lives in terms of how we go about doing it. But I'm a firm believer that it's always about being of service to others, you know.
Yeah.
It's never about just us, you know, obviously. And I also think that we have to enjoy it, you know. That's very important.
Yes,
So,
yes.
yeah. So what do you believe? That's our last question before I let you tell the audience a lot more about you and what you do and where they can connect with you. What do you believe the world needs more of? And if it had it, it would make a huge difference.
I think understanding and compassion, understanding each other. I think that that's where a lot of the ignorance comes, is that we don't understand each other. You know, even with this hate and this racism and discrimination, if you really sat down with people and got to know them, broke bread with people, and, you know, people that you've never interacted with ever, you probably have more in common with them than you even realized.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I think that, you know, we need just more compassion and more understanding, and more people getting to know each other rather than just judging people based on the media and what the media has taught you about a certain type of group of people. We need to go deeper than that.
Yes, I love that, because it's very true. Because sometimes you might think you have nothing in common with someone. When you actually take time to sit down and talk to them and get to know them, and they get to know you, you actually realize that you have so much more in common than you don't.
Yes.
You know, like we're really all in this together.
Yeah,
know?
we're all human. We all put our pants on the same way, right? We all wake up the same
we
way.
all bleed red, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yes, we're all the same.
I don't know if there's any other blood color.
Yeah, blue blood people around. I don't know any.
Definitely. Okay. So great, Chandra. So it was so great talking to you. So I would love for you to tell my audience, like, tell us more about your work, and also where they can connect with you, you know, your website, social media pages, Facebook group. So let us, you know, tell us about what you want.
Okay. So I have a website, and the website is social-preneur.com. And the preneur is spelled differently than regular entrepreneur. So just FYI, it's PRENUER. So the U and the E at the end of preneur is flipped. So just heads up on that people are aware, because sometimes people get it wrong when they're searching for it. And my Facebook page is the Socialpreneur, and that's where I do all my interviews. That's where I post my offers for my services. You know, right now I have an offer, you know, to take an idea to action, you know, and I'll sit down with you and talk you out how to take your just an idea that you have, whether it's a nonprofit, whether it's a political idea, and move it to action. So I offer that, and I also are working on a lunch and learn. And the lunch and learn is to help you create your and help you create influence within your community. So it's a 2-hour lunch and learn, and we develop a plan for each person on how to create that foundation and that political and community influence within their own communities. And that's 2 of the offers that I have right now. But you can reach me on and set an appointment with me on my website. For any of the services that I offer. It's like how to rise to the top within your community or organization or business, how to create political influence, or any speaking engagements that you would like me to speak on and when it comes to political and community or women empowerment.
I love that.
And then I have my Fearlessly Ambitious Women Facebook group. And only join if you dare to be pushed.
I love that.
Oh, not everybody can take me, and I tell them, go ahead, exit left, delete yourself from this group. If you can't take me pushing you to the next level, then you don't have to be here, because I'm only these type of women.
Yeah, and you work with women, basically, who want to get involved in their communities and political office.
Anything
in the U.S., right?
Well, most of them want to do political, community, but business also. They want to start their own businesses. They just
good. Okay, that's good to know.
Stuck and needed motivation to move to the next
level. Great.
So this group is more women empowerment. It's moving women from idle to action. You know, that women that are just kind of been sitting on an idea for a long time and want to do something, they just scared. So
wow, so I will have to think about, what am I scared of? I need to join.
You should.
So you can push me.
Yes, you should join and post your dancing videos. They'll love it. You know, a lot of the women are scared, Nadjejda. A lot of these women are scared to get on video. They're like they have anxiety over it, and I push them. You know, but they want their businesses to grow. They want to be visible. They want to do stuff, but they're like, I just can't do this. I can't do that. And I have to keep them. But you know, it takes time. It's not
definitely. And that's why and definitely. And I don't know if you noticed when I shared the other day my dancing video, you know, I actually had posted something on Instagram. I don't know who says that quote, but it goes, you have to want it more than you're afraid of it. Yes. And when I posted my videos, I also put a message that for me, for years, and it wasn't just the dancing. Like, actually, when I was teaching Zumba, I didn't even have dancing videos of me on social media at all. But video is something I've always wanted to do. Mm-hmm. Like, that's why I was saying, like, that's why I shared that my desire for it was bigger. Mm-hmm. So, but it's baby steps, baby steps. And that's how you get there. Because if you're thinking, not yet, I have to be more confident, and that's what I've learned, you're only going to get confidence by doing it.
By doing it. Exactly. And that's what I teach the women. We have a daily Monday, it's Mindset Mondays. Tuesday is Tell the Truth Tuesday. Wednesday is What Do You Want Wednesday. Thursday is Throw the Trash Out Thursday. And then Friday is Fierce Female Fridays. And I always bring on a fierce female, a woman that is doing great things, and I interview them, hopefully to motivate them, that say, wow, if she can do that, I can do that. So every day is a theme. I'm on there all the time. I really stay engaged and active with these women, and I tell them wins. I tell them to share their wins so we can celebrate them. Yeah. And a lot of them are getting some great breakthroughs. They're starting blogs. They're getting clients. They're starting their profits. They're doing a lot of stuff. So, it's working.
That's good. That's great. Yeah. So you guys here, if you are ready to be push, and sometimes you'll never be ready. You just have to really want it more than anything. Because if you wait until you're ready, I'm, you're like this.
You'll
You know,
never
it's like when you're supposed to jump, you're never really ready to jump.
There's never the right time, right? There's never the right time.
Never the right time, definitely. So thank you so much, Chandra, for sharing your expertise, your journey, and everything with us. I just have what's one more thing that you would say, and it could just be one sentence to these women who are wanting to get active, who are wanting to run for office, or who are just really, wanting to start their own business but are afraid to take that leap. What's that? What's a few things that you would want to say for them? Like, what's your last message to them?
That we need you. We need you to do it. We need you. The community needs you. Young women need you. The young boys need you. We need to see those images of leadership and women taking a stance. So that's my message is we need you.
I love that. I really, really love that. And I'm going to add to what she says. We need you, so don't make it about you. Because I've always, I learned this when I had my first workshop. And I remember somebody said that don't make it about you. Because when we make it about us, that's when we're afraid of, what if I mess up? What if they say something about me? But when we actually take it out of, we remove ourselves from it and we think about those who need us, then we do it for them. Because it's not about you. So remove yourself from it. So I love that. We need you, like she says. Yes. Okay, great. Thank you. I hope you'll enjoy this. All her info will be on my website when I share the episode. So you'll look below the video and you'll find everywhere that you can connect and work with Chandra and let her push you and inspire you to do things, okay? And you'll also be able to find out about me as well. So thank you again. Thanks for joining me, Chandra. You definitely need to come back another time.
Okay, great.
So we can talk some more about, where things are at. And thank you all for joining us. And I hope you find great value in this. And remember what Chandra said, we need you, your community, the world needs you.
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you.